And oh my goodness, here we go. Practicing. It's just practice. Happy day. It is not nearly as sunny outside as it is here in the Smith hole. Thank you for coming on Talk Practice, where we do exactly that. When I say we, I mean me and us together. And yeah, I did not mention this in the Christmas Eve podcast that I did, that it's no longer Sunday morning talk practice, if anybody cares about that sort of thing. It's just practice, so whenever, Sometimes it couldn't work on Sundays when I had it planned, and that pisses me off, so to reduce pissing me off, just do it whenever. Whenever you feel like it, man. Talk practice. And this is the first podcast since I hit 50, you guys. I'm wearing this shirt specifically so I can show my mother that I did wear it, that she got me for my birthday. The first 50 years of childhood are always the hardest. And boy, I love that sentiment. I don't know how much I'm going to wear this t-shirt in real life very often. But for a first post 50 cast, I'm cool with that, It's actually, the sentiment behind it is fantastic. It's just kind of ridiculous. I don't know that although, I do have a bunch of funny t-shirts that I wear. There's just something about it, It goes like way too far down, I don't know. It's just too much. But it's a good shirt nonetheless, Mom. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Love you. We're just practicing, man. I do have things I want to talk about, so it's not just rambling. If you are caught up on Stranger Things, you may want to check this out. You may want to hang with this. If you are not caught up on Stranger Things and want to be, then skip ahead to the next thing. Hope maybe I'll put some timestamps on the description so you can just click ahead if I remember. If I don't, then that won't happen. So just skip ahead until it doesn't look like I'm talking about Stranger Things anymore. But, man, what utter fucking storytelling perfection. There's a lot of people that don't like the ending of that. It's kind of like Game of Thrones in a way. I'm on the fence on a little bit. Not on the fence. I agree with some of the criticisms, but I don't think they're flaws, First of all, why the fuck don't more series, more TV shows release them, weekly? Or the way that they did it, chunk of 4, then you wait a month, and then there's a chunk of 3, and then wait a week, and then there's another one. Man, it is so much more fun to enjoy a show you love like that. Because, I don't know, it sounds old man to say, but, kids nowadays don't know what it's like. How fucking fun it was back in the day. They called it water cooler talk. The internet is the new water cooler. Oh my God, what do you think is going to happen? Oh my God, and the theories just run rampant. That you would think more shows would fucking release it like that. Sometimes you got to disappoint people, meaning there's just so many people that think that's the way that it should be, where you just dump all of the fucking episodes at once and binge it all, and that's fine. I've binged fucking shows too, and I get, I want to watch the next one, of course. But it's just so much more fun. And especially, again, now with like the viral possibilities of things, like that is one reason why Stranger Things, first of all, it's storytelling perfection. But that's one of the reasons Stranger Things just became so fucking huge. I didn't think it could actually get bigger than what it was, but it's just, all the talk and all of the viral shit just led it to this fervor. And when that happens, ultimately, you're going to have people upset with the ending. We wanted an epic showdown with Vecna. We wanted, we wanted somebody to die. Why didn't somebody die? And of course, you're thinking it's going to happen because they tease deaths all series long. Kill people off, bring them back, kill people off, bring them back. Are they dead? Are they not? It's just part of the fucking fun of the series, you know? But they've never killed anybody. That was one of my predictions going in. Of course, you're going, oh my God, is it going to be Will? Of course it's going to be Will. You're saying all these things. But I was also saying to people that I was talking to the show about that, you know, they might not kill anybody. That might be the most shocking thing. Because, again, they just are known for teasing death and not killing people, which is great. It's a show made for, you know, preteens and up. And I would have loved to watch this shit when I was 10 and 11, when I was watching The Goonies and Stand By Me and all of the shit that these guys based that show upon. Also, I have a theory. I didn't write this down, but I have a theory that I'm going to try to get to it. Let me write it down right now. Whew. We'll get to it. I made it in big fucking capital letters. You can't see that. I don't think you can. Get to that. I just have to remember where the fuck I was. But so many just throwbacks to all that shit. Goonies, Stand By Me, Suck My Fat One. That's a Stand By Me fucking classic. You know what I mean? Just loaded with that shit. Plus the character building, you know? Plus how they worked in characters' personal struggles to the narrative, you know? It is masterful storytelling. And it shouldn't be that shocking that they didn't kill anybody. It's kind of like the Game of Thrones it's a lot like the Game of Thrones criticisms. You know, you go to IMDb, that last season is rated at like a 5 or something. And I'm just like, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I just don't see it. Of course, it didn't go the way you wanted or the way you thought. It went a completely different direction and fucked with people, you know? But it's still like the same people that wrote the story. They didn't fucking go off the rails. It did what Game of Thrones did and just left you guessing, and then you never knew what the fuck was going to happen. And what is it, Bran? Oh, sorry, another spoiler alert. Bran becoming the king seemed like the most likely thing to happen. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it's just people not having the ending that they wanted or the epic battle with Vecna, which I see the criticism because I was kind of hoping for that too. Some epic fucking battle, you know? But it was also pretty fucking epic when Joyce said, you know, fucked with the wrong family, chop his fucking head off, you know? That was very satisfying. They just did what Stranger Things does, you know? Ended on the most beautifully fucking epilogue. You know, people were like, it was like an hour of ending. Same criticism as fucking Lord of the Rings. They had fucking 4 different endings. They could have ended it 4 different times. There's nothing like a good epilogue, man. Just to see what characters are up to, and that graduation speech by Dustin just had me, and the end part when they're playing fucking D&D again, fucking just blubbering like a fucking asshole, and loving every minute of it. And again, just teasing the existence of 11, and I choose to fucking believe 100%. You know. Just beautiful, just beautifully. Some of the criticisms, again, are maybe, I don't say well-deserved, but I see them. I don't necessarily agree with their flaws, you know? I watch reaction videos, and I see some people, criticizing the storytelling, and it's not the same as what it was. I'm like, no, man, they had to fucking ramp it up this season. It went in such a forward momentum from the get-go, where they didn't have as many lulls, and I don't want to say lulls, but as many character building moments, even though they had a bunch of them. It wasn't the same, but it was the last season, and shit was going down. So it was forward momentum all the time, and it was just so fucking good. Also, my theory. This is probably wrong, You know, I know they don't have any licensing with Stephen King. I actually just found out that they're not doing The Talisman now, which they had been linked to forever, and that fucking bummed me out because I was really looking forward to see that. But, man, the way that they tie in all of their stories again to the 80s stuff, the Stand By Me and the Goonies and Stephen King, and I didn't know Frank Darabont actually directed a couple of these episodes that did Stephen King's Shawshank and Green Mile and The Mist, which I haven't fucking seen. I think I started to watch it and decided, I don't really want to watch it. I don't know why. Got to watch it again. But Frank Darabont directed a couple episodes, but Stephen King, the Stephen King references throughout this fucking series, and the way the Mind Flayer is exactly like the spider in It, which I think is in the book. I think that's a giant. No, it's in the miniseries. God damn it! Why can't I need to reread It? I can't remember if that spider or not was in fucking It, but it was in the miniseries. And giant fucking spider. And they just, the way they kept saying it, you know, when Henry is in the mind with Will, and he's like, it didn't control me. I joined it. Whatever the fuck you're saying. It's just the way they kept saying it. And I'm like, this is a motherfucking It prequel. This is a fucking It prequel, man. From the way that Pennywise is described in It, it's just, I am the eater of worlds and of children, and preys on fear, right? That's his fucking angle, is fear, and they taste better with fear. It's the same goddamn thing. Vecna is Pennywise's fucking henchman. And this is the It prequel that we actually deserved, because I stopped watching Welcome to Derry after 3 episodes. I just couldn't fucking do it. It is the opposite of great writing that fucking Stranger Things is in character development. They wrote children so stupidly. I'm just like, oh my God, this is fucking horrible. Anyway, back to Stranger Things. That show, Welcome to Derry, doesn't deserve any more of my time. But this is the It prequel that we fucking deserved, man. I'm calling it. They haven't said it. But it's like the Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon theory. They're like, no, and they fucking swear up and down until the day they die, and it had to have been a pact because it fits so exactly. You're just like, shut the fuck up. You totally did that. And the Duffer Brothers completely made that an It prequel. And hats off to you. Man, you know what I really want to talk about? It's a weird thing. Figuring out that you are at least a little bit autistic. At least a little bit. I'm on the spectrum a little bit. I'm positive. And it's one of those things where I listen to quite a few podcasts and such about the neurodivergent spectrum and autism and ADHD, and I'm never probably others. Who knows, man? But such a weird thing talking about to people that either A can't relate to it. They call them the neurotypical folk. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about when you describe these things and you hear these things? But when you hear somebody describe these things that are in you for the first time, you're like, oh, fuck. I can't believe they're saying exactly what happens in my brain. There's probably not a lot of people watching this. Maybe neurodivergent people, I feel like, can spot motherfuckers from a mile away. I think I'm pretty good at it. Going, oh. And there's some crazy, maybe I want to write this down just to see if I want to talk about it right now, because it's a crazy theory about neurodivergent people. But there's not a lot of people, especially that listen to me on the radio, that would think that I am awkward and I don't do small talk. I didn't understand it back in the day when I decided to go into radio, but there was something about a microphone in front of me that triggered my ability to like speak my mind, and say, and it took a long time. I had stuttering Smitty, and it took this talk practice and all these things to kind of learn how to settle down and transfer my intelligent thoughts into hopefully intelligent words. But I am so awkward with people that I don't know usually. And when I say don't know, I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about people that in like a work setting and things like that. Customers. And I work in restaurant management, you know what I mean? When I wait tables or bartend or anything like that, which I've done periodically throughout my life, learning how to talk to people. I wasn't good at it when I worked as a waiter or a server 25 years ago. It was pre-radio. Once I figured out that, a microphone triggers my ability to say things. If there are not people in front of me and I'm just saying things, I can get things across and more or less get across what I'm want to, It's not the same in person. I just back away and I just stop saying what I'm thinking or make things awkward. And once I got sort of fucking famous in radio, you go out and do these live shows or live remotes, dealing with the public. And then it just becomes your persona. So you could talk to people like that. But once the small talk becomes, okay, I can't fucking do this anymore. And it's nothing against the person. It's just like, okay, I'm done talking, and I just walk the fuck away. It's like I have a hard time faking it. I can do it for a little bit, but once it becomes too much, I just have to fucking back away. And if it's a stranger, I can, again, bullshit. And waiting tables now is totally different because I'm doing a show. That's how I look at it when I'm talking to customers is you're doing a show. Get your personality out there, and I can get my personality out there, and I can be kind of in your face and fun and things like that. But after a certain amount of time, usually a couple minutes, I dip away. And a fucking weird-ass thing that I do, and I just can't help it. I can't fucking help it. And I'm talking about people that I work with, too. If I don't know them all the way, or even if I do know them pretty well, I'll leave it on a joke. I'll just end up with some sort of wisecrack as I'm fucking walking away. And I don't know if anybody ever notices it. In my head, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I can't fucking help it. But I just have to get the fuck out of there. So I'm just explaining some of that to say when I interact with strangers especially, like I smoke cigarettes and I go outside to smoke of my apartment. There is my neighbor downstairs runs the business. There's an above business apartment that I live at, downtown apartment. I go out to smoke. She goes out to smoke. And she seems cool. I like the tattoo folk, man. That's my crowd. And I always want to like blah, 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 and just shoot the shit and things like that. And I just never do. And be out there smoking and I just feel awkward and I walk away. And I recently, I was like, God, you always think, that seems so awkward in your head. I'm such a fucking idiot. What is wrong with me? Just be cool. What the fuck's wrong with you? And I finally decided after this specific interaction that was so awkward. I can't even remember what the fuck I said. Usually something about the weather, I don't know, and I just make it fucking weird, man. And I remember I walked away and I was walking up the steps of my apartment, and the door that opens up into the apartment hallway that's right next to her business where she was standing, it was shutting. And I heard her fucking laugh at just how awkward it was. And that there's no other fucking reason she could have been laughing. And to be honest with you, shit like that makes me laugh. That's one of the ways that I've been able to get through my awkwardness is just my own amusement at myself. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Where does that come from? You know? And I fucking started laughing, walking up the steps, and I'm like, you awkward motherfucker. But then, you know, I decided, you know what? Fuck this. What I'm going to do is next time I'm out smoking with her, is just bring up a certain topic. Because look, with small talk, I can only take so much. But I can sit here and talk about ideas and things like I am right now on a fucking microphone. There isn't an audience. There isn't somebody here. And I just said, you know what? Next time I see her, I'm just going to be my fucking self. Because I can be myself in my friends' groups, being myself with family, you know. The people that know me love me and think I'm a funny, gregarious person. People that hear me on the radio think I'm a funny, gregarious person. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be my fucking self and bring up how she is like one of the only businesses left standing in this small-ass town. There's a couple, 3 businesses that have closed. I think one might be reopening as something else. There's a bar across the street that has been waiting to open, I think, for like 6 months. I don't fucking know. It looks done. But there's like 2 businesses on this fucking block that are still standing. And 3 maybe. And I'm just like, you know, just bring up something. Just fucking break some ice and start fucking chatting with this person. And it totally worked. You just have to make a decision, you know? So, okay, how am I going to treat this awkwardness? How am I going to turn the tables here? And I don't know, it takes a certain level of gumption probably for some people. That's what I try to get through to some people that, let me take a sip of my coffee here. Try not to slurp on the microphone. That's what I try to get through to some people that, you know, are also neurodivergent and have awkwardness talking to people, you know, and they say to me, I don't know how you can just talk. And the best way I can describe it is this practice right here, practicing. Sometimes you just have to open your mouth when those fucking thoughts are. You know what you know when you're thinking? Yeah? Open your mouth when that's happening. It sounds easier than it probably is for a lot of people, especially nonverbal autistic people. On the spectrum, it's different for other people. But that's what it takes for me, you know, is just get it out there. Hammer them with your fucking personality. And then, you know, then it becomes different. Then it becomes the next time there might be some fucking awkwardness. And I tend to be pretty open with people. It takes me a little while to become open. But I'm usually pretty open with people. Hey, you know, just fucking this is what I'm dealing with sometimes. And I'm a very big proponent of mental health. And that's really the best way to go about it, I feel like. You know, is just to be like, oh, okay, I got this going on. And you run into more people in your personal life that you're also like, okay, they might know and they might say they are. But there's some people that I jive with so fucking well personally that I know in my personal life, and then I'll just bring it up and I'll be like, look, we are kind of the same people, the same way of thinking. You might want to check this out. And then they will, and they'll be like, you're fucking right, pal. And I kind of love it. I kind of love knowing that that's the reason. That's the reason why after so much public interaction, I am like crippled. I'm crippled with thought, and I'm crippled with guilt because I'm not doing a podcast. but I've actually found a really good schedule that works with this, to do my things. And the way it cripples you after a lot of public interaction. And I work with the public, but learning what the fuck it is and how to deal with those things, and then to proactively sort of change your mindset and change, the reasons that you were hampered before by, not being able to fucking communicate to people. Why seems fucking crazy to people that are not neurodivergent. That, things like, let me give you a fucking example, man. I have a post office box. I barely check the fucking mail. First of all, I'm just like, oh, there's nothing that I get in the mail. It's all just trash anyway. So I'm just like, yeah, fuck that. But I'm like, at some point, I know I got to go to the post office box. There might be something in there I need. And I'm just like, well, when do I go? I have to put it on a schedule, and then if something pops up to disrupt that, then I'm like, oh, I can't go then. I seriously have to map out a time to go grocery shopping, to do all those things and set on a schedule. And if I'm dealing with the public and small talk over and over and over again, that just cripples, they call it executive function or executive dysfunction in this case, where it's just like you just can't do the basic things. Being dropsy, being clumsy is a real thing. And I tried to describe it to my brother Levi once, and I said, I just had the dropsies. And he's like, well, what are you dropping? I'm like, fucking everything, man. And I actually heard this described to me by Blind Boy Boat Club podcast. He's one of the most brilliant podcasters I've ever heard in my fucking life on the neurodivergent scale, and he's the one that really drove it fucking home. And he always has great fucking stories and analogies for it. So check him out if you never have. But lost my fucking train of thought again. God damn it, Blind Boy. But he was talking about clumsiness and just how when you are burnout, autistic burnout, it's described as, the dropsies set in. And it starts in the fucking morning. I've pulled my coffee container out from my overhead sink cabinet and just popped it off once, and coffee went all over me, and it's the first thing that happens. Where it's not the shakes, it's not anything like that, it's just, I can't open things and fucking do things, and then it just spirals. And the rage spirals, I've become really good at when those things start to happen, I can usually settle myself. Sit there. Take a breather. Shut your eyes in the moment and relax. And I've gotten pretty good at that. But up until then, and it still takes over because sometimes I just fucking want to rage. I don't throw things anymore. I don't fucking grab something. Never a human, anything like that. It's always just an inanimate object. I used to punch things when I was a kid. When you don't know how to get this fucking anger out, and this rage from, can you think, why the fuck can't I hold on to anything? Why do I drop things? I've actually developed fucking superhuman skills because of probably as a way to counteract my clumsiness, where I'm just like, I was great at fucking shortstop as a kid. Glove everywhere. Dude, I am like, I could be a goalie. I've had people say that to me. I used to slow pitch, and anything hit back at me, I'm like, boom, fucking got like a goddamn goalie. People say, why don't you play fucking goalie? I got reflexes like a motherfucker. Probably one of the reasons I got a linguist job offer when I was in the Army. The reflexes and language skills fucking get him in to somewhere fucking where he can do some good. But I'm pretty sure it is a way to balance out or hopefully counteract the clumsiness, because it's just bad. It's just horrible. And the way it spirals your day. Like I had a day fucking last week, and it was one of those fucking mornings. And then people just know it's one of those days. If you get it, you get it. That happened. I go into work and I fucking wear black pants, spilled bleach all over my fucking pants. And I'm like, motherfucker, as I was walking to the kitchen, I'm realizing, oh, this bleached my fucking pants, just spattered them, you know? And I saw the coffee I had put on in the coffee pot at work. It was offline, which is so easy to do if you pay attention and take the time. But I go, bloop, bloop, bloop. My brain is such a rush sometimes. A lot of times, it is always a rush. What do I got to do next? Fucking da-da-da-da. And I noticed that the coffee that I made was offline, and there was coffee all over the fucking counter. And I'm just like, and I just fucking screamed, motherfucker, as I was walking back into the kitchen. And at that moment, because when my rage is going, it's going. In this moment, in this particular moment, I was still very good at restraining myself despite the fucking loud, vulgar outburst. Because when the next fucking thing happened, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's somebody showing empathy. When a coworker goes, what fucking happened? And I, for some reason, in that moment, when things are going wrong, and I'm fucking pissed off, and I just want to fucking yell, and somebody says what's wrong, I don't know why that's a trigger. But it did in that fucking particular moment, you know? And I just fucking had to be like, I actively restrained myself in probably the most comical way possible to this dude. And he's just like, what's wrong? And I'm just like, I fucking hate this. And I just walked away. And I was like, I bleached my fucking pants, spilled coffee everywhere, just fucking put a fucking bullet in me. And then I think it was a 12-hour day, and it just really escalated from there. I'm just walking around with fucking bleach pants in a bad fucking mood, and things go wrong at work, and, you know. And then you go to do content, and then you're like, I don't have any energy for this. But luckily, my new fucking schedule has really worked out. Those moments don't happen very often. I'm usually very good at dealing with them. But that was just that particular day, you know? So anyway, that's how I try to work with my autistic brain, you guys. If that helped you in some way, shape, or form, you're welcome. I'm all about mental health on this podcast, all about talking about it. Because, as I said, it's entertaining for me. I amuse myself, you know? Hopefully somebody along the way decides to be amused as well and is amused as well. Let me take a sip of the coffee here. Mouth's getting dry. You know what I fucking hate? The term dad rock. The term dad rock. And I hated it before, but I didn't really know why. Like, wait a second. Now, usually, the term dad rock, I had seen it assigned to, I don't know, what you would describe. I know they've also been called butt rock bands by some people, and it's just, you know, the arena rock from the 70s, you know, like Journey and Boston and into the hair metal. I always heard that described as dad rock. But I was always like, wait a fucking second. That's kind of a shitty fucking term. And I didn't really know why it didn't sit well with me. I'm not a dad, you know? And then it started being used to describe music that I liked, and then I really fucking took offense to it. I'm like, well, go fuck yourself, because I'm not a dad. Other than having a cat, I am not a dad. But then the more that I kind of figure my own mental health out and try to become more emotionally aware, you know, I'm like, it's tied together with how the term dad rock is tied to, let me get these fucking words out, is tied to dads being lame. That's really that's really what they're doing. The dad rock is associated with lame dads. Dads that just sit at home anymore, dads that go to fucking, I don't know, whatever fucking dads do. I'm not dads. Lame dads. You hear them fucking called that all the time. And I'm just like, are these people being criticized because they have good mental health, or at least hopefully good mental health? I feel like that happens for a lot of, it happens for a lot of guys, probably. You get a family, and you have a fucking family. I love that. I've wanted a family for years and years. I am that part of my life is over. I'm not sitting here saying I'm pining for a family, but I feel like that helps a lot of men. Having women in your life to introduce you to a little feminism every once in a while. There'll be fucking dudes that scoff at that shit, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You need strong women in your life. And you need to see female perspectives, and you need those things. And guys that, marry women that, they see as equals, let's just say that, and accept their points of views, and get daughters, see them grow up, and you don't want those daughters mistreated. That shit helps men's mental health, It really, really fucking does. I can promise you that most men, if you objectively explore your mental health, you will find that you will need a female perspective. You will find that all of the bullshit you were told your whole fucking life of, how to exist as a fucking man. Because most men have been fed a line of bullshit their whole fucking life about you have to fucking be macho, and you always like dudes that fucking pick fights all the time, bros at fucking bars, going out and starting fucking drunken bullshit, not accepting other points of views. You really need some female perspective in your life. I got to tell you, man, try not to fuck everything. Let's start there, The point of this fucking story is a lot of guys get a lot better with their mental health when they have families, I feel like. So what you're doing essentially when you're talking shit about their fucking lame dad rock and calling them lame because they, I don't know, let their daughters paint their fucking fingernails and do things, and who knows, man? I don't know what the fuck. My brother had his kids make his fucking just sitting there enjoying his children, letting them braid his hair. So, I love seeing my brother with his family. I think it's fantastic, man. I love my nieces and nephews. I love the strong women that they are. And my brother was raised by a strong woman who spoke her fucking thoughts. And it was such a fucking benefit in my life. I really, really, really know that. And my mental health is so much better than what it was 10 years ago when I made the decision to explore my mental health and to explore why I am the way I am and to get better at these things, It just drives me constantly. And I don't know how many dudes would actually agree that because they have daughters that they are accepting feminism or these things that they hate, but they probably are. There's all sorts of guys that are just minutes away from making the leap, and it's fantastic. People are changing all the time, man, and which is, when guys say stupid shit, which I have been known for. I've said a lot of fucking stupid shit before. What was my first Facebook status that I made since I opened that fucking page up and I just saw a meme, even though I said I hate memes, but you see one every once in a while, and it was something about the person that fucking posted my Facebook status in 2008 is somebody I have zero anything in common with anymore. The same fucking... The same way guys talk to each other all the time, calling each other faggot and all this fucking bullshit, I just shy away from that shit anymore. I'm just like, it's kind of fucking horrible. And, just because you can say these fucking shitty things to your friends, and it's okay to fucking say this around this guy, and fucking... shit needs to go away, man. The more fucking guys that, because so many people will say men's mental health and men are not accepted anymore, and a lot of guys say stupid fucking shit and get attacked, which kind of pisses me off. I don't necessarily think it needs to be something to be attacked for all the time when guys say stupid shit. Guys are like, yeah, you probably should be fucking say, hey, that was kind of fucking stupid. Somebody should point it out to you. What I'm saying is, you can't always expect people to change immediately. It's just not. It just doesn't happen that way. It took fucking years for me to get this better mindset and get become more emotionally healthy, and it's fucking fantastic. I feel so good right now. I feel like I went off the rails here, but the point of this story is stop fucking calling dads who seem mentally healthy or men that seem mentally healthy lame. They're not out there fucking around every night. They're not out there getting in fucking fights at bars. They're out there, they're being men. They're being healthy men. You know what I mean? And you're fucking assholes. If you fucking criticize them, they're trying to be healthy, What's that George Carlin line? Because they didn't used to be healthy. That's the point of this whole fucking story. They probably didn't used to be. They probably, fucked around and did some fucked up shit at some point in their life. And what's that line from George Carlin? Hell is full of dads. You know what I mean? They didn't used to be. But they're trying. Call him lame, My dad's pretty fucking lame. No, I'm just kidding. My dad's actually really cool. My brother's cool. He's not lame, I know all sorts of cool fucking dads. There we go. I'm not even a dad, and I just defended dads. I love you. I love the dads, man, I feel like I've gotten to the end of this podcast. My mouth is dry. I'm fucking yapped out. How long have I been fucking talking for? Holy shit, quite a while. Hopefully I remember to make the edits that, so it become less awkward. And then we're just here rambling. We're rambling on a Tuesday. Peace out.
We talking about practice.